I want to change it all, rearrange it all, face it all for what it is and make a shift to hear just as cool. But I feel just as small as the smallest ant that crawls, or the raindrop that falls in the world's ocean pool. And who am I to fall? I'm falling on my own face, not in a prayer state. I'm falling far from His grace. Yeah, I can taste the waste resident within this space. It breaks out and leaks out in every single breath I take. Cause I've been all these things, bitter, tired, broken, choking on my pride and lusting for unspoken. Idols that have me idle, frozen within the moment. I'm focused on all the potent Trojans that rip open the whole world around me. Inside me left defenseless, to the whole world around me just says it's the consensus that this is just the norm, but that just sounds senseless. If this is all we know, then maybe we should sense less. I believe in the sense to know and make changes, not be debaters from places we feel the safest. I believe a threat to freedom anywhere is a threat everywhere. A placid stare is the same as a deathly glare. I believe the universe curves towards justice. The moral arc of our hearts reflects this compass. I believe in something bigger than all of these things. In Him I know there's change, so that's where I begin. Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I'm from the We Are Tearfund community, and today I'm giving you 5 steps to write spoken word for justice.
Perfect.
Step 1. Pick a topic. I like to think that art is fueled by life and forged by silence. Meaning, you need to make sure that in your daily life, you're taking in moments where you can be inspired, whether it's by the people you meet, whether it's the stories you're hearing. What is going to inspire you to write something today? But most importantly, making sure that you take time to be silent and actually reflect on what is on your heart. What's God been speaking to you about lately? That's the best way for me to actually pick a topic. It doesn't have to be something huge or something crazy. Any topic can start with something mundane, something silly. The most important thing is that you just take a moment to actually stop and reflect. Step 2. Take an angle. What perspective are you going to talk from? Is it going to be your own? Is it going to be someone else's? Are you going to be telling a story, whether it's real or fake? Or are you going to be doing it in more of a monologue style? Whatever decision you come to, make sure you make a decision. There's nothing worse than going in blind. And most importantly, be honest and be bold. No one comes to listen to spoken word to hear someone just straddle on the fence. You need to make sure that you make your case for what you believe in and invite people into that. Step 3. Get writing. I recommend having a really strong opener that catches people's attention. This could be done through any different way, whether you want to shock people, make them laugh, make them question, or just intrigue them to hear more. It's important to make sure that people want to hear what else you've got to say. Choose your poetic devices, whether you want to use rhyming, whether you want to use repetition, similes, metaphors, wordplay. All these different poetic devices are really important for bringing people into your piece and making it more interesting than just someone just talking on stage. Make sure you make the listener feel what you're writing, not just tell them what to feel. It's no good just saying this person was sad, because actually as a listener, I want to be able to connect to that and empathize myself. The best way to do that is to use a lot of imagery in your writing and make sure you utilize all 5 senses. How does the person feel? What is the person hearing? What do they smell? What do they see? These are great ways to actually make people empathize and step into what you're trying to say. And make sure you let the piece find itself. Oftentimes when we start writing something, we come with an idea of where we want it to go. And that's okay, but sometimes I feel like we can get in the way of ourselves. We can get in the way of our own work. So I think when you're writing a spoken word piece, just let your pen flow. Wherever direction it ends up going, that's what's honest, that's what's bold. Step 4. Edit, edit, edit. This is a really important part of the process that you cannot ignore. The first way to do this is to start saying your piece out loud. That's the best way to hear if things flow properly or if they just sound a bit too forced. At that point, you can start writing those things out and editing it to make sure that it sounds as smooth as possible. Depending on how you write, this may actually be the first time you carve out your piece. I know a lot of people just like to just automatically write and just keep going until they're finished. That's a great way to do it, but in the editing process, that's where they actually find their poem. I heard a great tip once. If you struggle with editing as you go and actually getting lost in that process, something you can do to help yourself is to type in white font. That means when you're typing, you can only focus on what you're saying and what's to come. You can't keep looking back and getting bogged down in the slow editing process. So try it out for yourselves and see how it works. Step 5, it's time to perform. Spoken word is not spoken word if it's not spoken. So it's time to get out there and make sure you're doing your best to connect with different people, different audiences all of the time. Make sure you find your own style when you're doing it. I think a lot of the times we start to see specific people who perform and we think that's what we've got to be, we have to speak in really grand terms or whatever, but it doesn't have to be that. Whatever's natural to you, let that be you. Whether it's funny, whether it's laid back, whether it's super intense, that's absolutely fine. Just find your style. Within that, you have a choice between whether you're going to memorize your piece or whether you're going to read it off the page. Both are valid. All that matters is that you do it with enough conviction. When you're performing, it's really important that you are able to connect with people in that room. Your eye contact is hugely important. Making sure that you're looking at different people in the room to let them know that actually I'm speaking to you and I welcome you into this piece with me. Your body language has to reflect what you're talking about, and your facial expressions too. Like I said, it's no good saying something was sad but you're just smiling about it. To make sure that you're really connecting and living out your words that you've written, make sure that your face, that your body language all reflects the words that you're saying. Find somewhere to perform. It could be a church, a youth group, it could be open mic nights. Wherever it is, you only get better by doing. So make sure that you're putting yourself out there and don't get too worried about how you're going to be received. Step 6, here's a bonus one. Keep going. A lot of the times when we're starting something new, they can get a bit discouraged and think, I'm not as good as I want to be, or that person over there is much better than me. But my tip to you is it doesn't matter where you think you're at, just keep going. You may not be great at first, but like I said, when it comes to performing, you get better with time. Same thing as writing. The more you do, the better you will get. I'm often reminded of a quote by an author called Ira Glass. He talked about the gap. Now this is something that no one really tells beginners, but when you first start out, you have a certain taste level. It's why you even started. But your skill level might not quite reach it. Now people kind of think, well yeah, obviously one day that will disappear, but the fact is your taste is always going to go up and your skill level will keep going up. So don't worry about that gap, but just make sure you're doing everything you can to keep going. Thanks for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. If you need some more inspiration or things to talk about in your spoken word, why not check out some of the Together Group resources on the We Are Tearfund website. You can check them out at weare.tearfund.org.